Hi everybody, I'm Bill Sanders and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. Today what I'd like to talk about is entry-level in-house movements. There's a somewhat of a caveat to that because there are certain in-house movements that are very inexpensive and cheaply made. I'm not saying they're bad or awful or anything like that, but I'm sort of excluding that group from taking a look at the in-house movements we're going to look at, in-house mechanical movements. Okay, but before we get started with the in-house movements, what I'd like to do is take a look at the watch of the week. And this week, Michael Stevenson has been nice enough to send me photographs of his Laurent Ferrier Gallet Square Boreal. There are two Boreals, or Gallet Square Boreals. One is in brown and one is in green, and they have this really terrific loom to them. And the green more so than the brown, but the brown is gives it a sort of a rich classic look. This particular watch I really like a lot. The caliber is Laurent Ferrier 22.9.01. It's an automatic with a micro rotor, 3 hertz, 21,600 beats per hour, and it has a 72-hour reserve. And it's considered a sports watch, but I about as close to a sports watch as Laurent Ferrier is gonna ever get. I think I really like the watch, not for a sports watch, but for literally any time of watch. Perhaps with sports, I'd put it away and go get a G-Shock or something for real sports. This one, no, is just a gorgeous watch. There's not a lot more I can say, but I really like it. And thanks again, Michael, for letting me show this as our watch of the week. Okay, now, in looking at, we want an in-house movement, and I'm going to start with a good, solid in-house movement that is probably not a great deal better or better at all than some other ones by ETA, especially some in the Valjoux line and some of the other ones. But it's a very good movement. And Seiko makes good movements. They make excellent movements. So this one, though, when we look at it, it doesn't look high horology and it's not really fancy, but it's a good, solid in-house movement. The watch is a Seiko Presage, and it's only $425. Beautiful watch. I mean, it's if you get this watch, you're getting an in-house movement, and you're getting a good, solid utility, I think. And I like the looks of this particular model. There are a lot of other models. Okay, let's move on now. Into German watches. One of my favorite, and especially with the DUW line of watches or of movements in their watches, is a Nomos, and I put in two because I like them both. The Metro Power Reserve, I like it. This is a wind-up watch. $37.80 is the price on it. It has the DUW 4401 movement, and it's just clean as a whistle, beautiful watch. The other one is a brand new one called the Autobahn, and it's 41 millimeters, and it has the DUW 6101 in it. It's an automatic, and so the one on the left has a hand-wound movement. The one on the right has an automatic. I like them both. They're entry-level watches. I think if you want to have a watch and they'll have the exhibition window on the back of them. That's with Nomos, you can choose to have them with and without on some models. But these two, I really like the looks of the watches, and I think that and also they have good in-house movements. And There were some that there were copies of other ones, but any of the ones that are in the DUW, they're the real thing. And here are a couple I really like. There are a lot more, but these two I think would be my choices. All right, this next one is Omega. And Omega, you have to watch Omega because there were so many different things that some of their movements are sort of, they have one aspect to it that's really from another movement. But here is a good, solid in-house movement, the OM 8806. It's got the George Daniels coaxial escapement, solid as a rock, great movement. And the watch is one of the ones that's really overlooked, and that's the Omega Railmaster. This particular one is $4,900. They're not cheap, but they're very, very good strong horology in this particular watch. This is another one I like. Usually you hear about the Speedmaster and the Seamaster, or even the DeVille, but the Railmaster is a cool one, I think. All right, moving along, the Chopard. Now, the thing about the Chopard Mille Miglia is that it one time it had, I think, some kind of ETA movement in it, and then they said, okay, listen, we're going to step it up, and they have this caliber, this Chopard caliber 0101-C, which is a true in-house movement. Now, one of the things about this is that this is a chronometer and a chronograph. This watch, and it's $6,000, and again, none of these are very inexpensive. I mean, not like a Seiko. A Seiko, you can get a nice watch for a lot less money, but for a Chopard, this is one I would pick. I mean, this is like we're talking about entry level here movements, and I think this is a good, solid entry level movement from a Chopard. The Mille Miglia, this is a watch I have always liked. It's a driver's watch. I've liked it a lot. And but it didn't have the right movement in it, according to me. Now they do, so it's a neat movement. By the way, I'm wearing, speaking of driver's watches, a lot of people consider the, what's it called, the Vacheron Constantin Historiques Americain 1921 as a driver's watch, and so I got that on today. All right, let's move along here. We've got, and now the next one is a Rolex. The reason I wanted to include Rolex is a lot of people they love Rolexes, and the one that I think is really quite a good one. And again, Rolex people say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, and they may have a point, but these are ones I like, and I'm going to tell you why. Two of them, first of all, their entry level is the Oyster Perpetual 39, and the other one that used to be an entry level was the Air King, okay, but then they decided at some point, well, we're going to make the Air King into a true pilot's watch. It's a great idea, but I just don't. I mean, a pilot's watch, I'm not sure in what sense they had in mind. All I got to do to make a true pilot's watch out of the Air King is stick on a GMT. GMT is used with what's called Zulu time. Zulu time is the median time in London, and that would help be a real pilot's watch. Now, what they've done that was sort of interesting with this, and this is this caliber 3131 that I like. I don't think it's in the Oyster Perpetual 39, but just by comparison. Now, in terms of entry level, the Air King used to be the entry level until they juiced it up, and they have the same movement and the same anti-magnetic qualities as the Milgauss. Now, this is since 2015 when they changed it. But the Milgauss is $8,200 and the Air King is $6,200, and they have the same movement. So I thought, well, I'll put this in there. This is something. Now, since I used to fly, I really like the Air King. I like it anyway without a Zulu time with it. So anyway, there are a couple watches. You know, I also like the Oyster Perpetual 39. Yeah, you can save, what, $500 on it. And I do like the looks of it. But of the two, I'd want the Air King. All right, let's go on. The next watch, now Tudor is owned by Rolex, and this is a watch that just came out in 2018, brand new, and it's an interesting watch, all right, in this respect. First of all, with the metal band, and you have the burgundy and blue rotating bezel on it. It's the Black Bay GMT. This is a dynamite watch. All right, it's got the movement is called an MT 5652, and it looks like it has, well, okay, so it's got a GMT, so it's got the time of it's on the dial, plus the time that the extra GMT hand has for it. But you can have a third time with it too. All you got to do is rotate the bezel to your third time zone. So this is a neat watch, and I really like it a lot. The price, again, $3,900 isn't chicken feed, but I mean, it's not, you know, some of these really crazy high prices. And with a leather strap, it's $35.75. So if you don't need a metal band with that, but this is brand new, just came out. It's 41 millimeters. I'm comfortable with the 41 millimeter. I think this guy's 42. So neat watch and a great entry level into high horology. Now you got to be careful with Tudor, because some of the models, even the brand new ones, have these ETA in it. If you're going to get a watch and you want an in-house Tudor movement, look for the MT. Okay, that's for movement Tudor, or manufacturer Tudor actually. Okay, let's go on. This next watch is, I think it's the only high horology watch that I have on here, true high horology. And this is a Jaeger-LeCoultre Master Control. I may have mentioned it before. This watch is such a neat watch. I love the dial on this watch. I like everything about it. It's just a cool watch. 39 millimeters, another size I like. You've got the exhibition window on the back. Another thing I like with watches, you can see the movement. It's got a gold rotor to it. And it's for $5,700. I mean, that's a good buy. You got a date window. The date window at 3 o'clock and it's a little small and not as interesting as some others maybe, but that's okay. Here is a very nice watch. It's the caliber 899/1, so you can get a great in-house high horology watch for a great price. And again, it comes with an in-house movement. All right, this next watch, again, this is a fabulous watch. I have one. Now, I got the price down there. It's $4,500. I've been looking around. They may have gone up. Same watch, but they're even when I got mine, you had to wait a few months to get one because they were so popular. All right, so this particular one, it won a Grand Prix in 2015 for the Petit Aiguille Award, which is the best watch under 8,000 Swiss francs. Hour, minute, 2800, 800, that's the frequency of it. Super watch. I'll tell you, the wind on it is a little hard, but you're getting what amounts almost to a handmade watch. They only make a few hundred of these a year, and the movement is called an A11-B in this particular one. They have some other ones. Here is a watch that you're getting. Actually, they probably wouldn't be considered high horology, but man, I tell you, they are a wonderful watch. All right. And of course, it's an in-house movement. The A11 isn't. Some of the other ones that Harbring made weren't, but they were done up so well it didn't matter. All right. Now, with Zenith, what I did is that I first of all, I got the Elite. The Elite movement is one that's overlooked and it's overshadowed by the El Primero. It always has been. I've got a Zenith GMT Elite, fabulous watch. Works beautifully well. Now, this one is a brand new one called an Elite Classic. And it's a time-only watch, and but it does have an in-house movement. It's the Elite. Now, another one that I like is called the Pilot Extra Special. Now, the one that I'm showing there to keep, I've been trying to keep the prices under under 5,000 or 5,000 and lower. I wasn't too successful with the Rolex, but pretty close. Same thing with the Jaeger-LeCoultre, it's also very close. Okay, now the Pilot Extra Special. Now this one I found in condition zero, brand new at places like Joma Shop. You can find watches like this. And if you like that style, that's the Pilot. I mean, you want a big Pilot. Again, this doesn't have a GMT. That's me perhaps more than all pilots. But when I used to fly, a GMT would be a great thing on a watch. So again, here we've got two watches. Now, both of these watches are from markets that are condition zero. In other words, these are watches that they didn't sell, and they put them up for grabs. In other words, they didn't sell at the ADs, and so they said, okay, well, here we have some leftover ones. The Kalpa, the Parmigiani Kalpa on the right is like, it's super high horology, an excellent watch. They won 2 Grand Prix last year, 2 awards at the GPHG. I have one. I love it. It's a great watch. $47.75. Now, normally these things are around $10,000, but they couldn't sell it. So, the place that I found is a place called Shopworn, and they had one left. So, the other ones got grabbed up. The other one I like a lot is the Glashütte Original Senator on the left there. Now, again, this one it's pretty expensive. It's around $8,000-$9,000, and yet I found it in condition zero, which means unused and brand new, for $45.99. Both of these prices, by the way, are negotiable. Everything's negotiable, all right? So you can knock off what you want to on those and see if you can get it for less. Both of them have in-house movements, the Glashütte Original Senator and the Parmigiani Fleurier Senator. Okay, well, there are lots more that we could talk about, but I thought, well, okay, let's try to get somebody says, like, I want an in-house movement, and they range from everywhere in terms of price and everything else. And I tried to come in, not at the very, very bottom. If you want to, you can go out and get an Orient, and they have an in-house movement. And they're very inexpensive, and they're good tool watches, I guess. Anyhow, but these are more of your strong and high horology watches, and I thought that you might like to see them. Now, I probably missed one. They say, hey, boy, you should have seen this one or that one. But these are all in-house. And if you've got a good one, you say, hey, use the comment section. Say, you should have talked about this. Okay. All right, well, this is an invitation to subscribe as always, and I'd love to hear your comments. And until on Sunday, when we have our review, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. By the way, too, it got really hot. We went from winter to summer. My wool beret just was steaming, so I put on my baseball cap. All right. Hope to see you Sunday.